All right, welcome back to the Meditate, Motivate, and Movement podcast. I am one half of your host, Rod, and this is my lovely co-host.
Hello, it's me, Ari.
Yeah, we're excited to be back with you guys. It's been a little while, but we are officially back in action on the podcast
Yes.
for 2022.
Yes, our first one of 2022.
Yeah, first episode of 2022. And if you've been hanging around waiting for an episode, you finally got it.
And on video.
Yep. So that obviously means that the YouTube page is going. So if you're seeing this video, thank you. Make sure you like and subscribe, right? We need to build up the followers on the YouTube page. If you're listening, make sure you subscribe, man. We got episodes coming every week now. So you guys be ready for it. Yeah. All right. So it's been a little while since we've been here, so we can kind of give you the quick catch up. A lot since the last time. But just
yes,
man. Yeah. COVID's still hanging around.
It won't go anywhere.
We're in variant X, Y, and Z at this point. Seems like things just continue to pop up, flare up, go down, flare up. So hopefully you guys are all holding up well during all of that, staying healthy,
right?
Monitoring your physical health as well as your mental health,
definitely,
as you deal with the pandemic like we are, right?
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing that's happened since the last time we talked to you guys is we are in a new house, which means we are podcasting from a different location. We're shooting video now. It should probably sound a little different to you because we're using a little bit of a different mic. So some different things, but still the same.
Try to upgrade ourselves a little
bit, right? Like a little bit, but still the same us.
Still the same us.
So not like new year, new you, but
new year still us.
Still us. New episodes though, right? But I'll let you go. Maybe you have something that's new and different.
Oh, not really. I mean, the house, but I thought we talked about that on the last episode.
We talked about it, but I don't think we were officially in it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's different.
Wow, it's been that long. Well, my last couple months have been a little bit crazy. So I don't have anything new. I just have a little crazy now. Because I got sick in November and it was supposedly not the coronavirus. At least the test said it wasn't, but I had got pretty sick. And then it could have just been stress and a cold all hitting together with going into moving and working and trying to build things. Like it's a lot. So even more so reason to I really honed in on like caring for myself, especially this last month.
Yeah.
So in December, just because of my November. So yeah, I think, and then we just chilled for the holidays. The holidays were nice. We got to have our annual cookie. We do a hot cocoa, cookies, and go see lights with the kids. So we haven't been able to do that in 2 years.
Right.
Like this. Yeah. We missed 2020. So the last one was in 2019. So we brought back the annual celebrations, which I know a lot of people are bringing back or had brought back. And now people are kind of shutting down again a little bit. So, we just have to be flexible, but that was exciting. But yeah, I don't really have like too many.
No, there's no expectations.
Things.
No, like you don't have to have like a bunch of stuff going on. Just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about anything in particular.
I know. I feel like I always have a bunch of stuff going on, but now that January is ramping up, I have tons of stuff happening. So I'm sure our next episode it'll be like this and this and this. But no, I chilled out. It was raining in California. If you're not from California, then you are lucky because you missed the rain for that moment, but probably not as lucky because you're somewhere else cold. But yeah, we were just like a whole week of rain during the holidays. Almost 2 weeks of rain, which was good because it got us to just chill, really.
It's good timing.
Yeah, it was perfect timing. So didn't need to do anything but sleep in the sand pajamas and hang out with the kids and Yeah.
turn on the heater and get cozy.
Yeah.
So it was good. It was good. It was actually really good timing for that.
Yeah. I have some other things, but I want to drop them in each section. So
Ooh, somebody had a plan. Unlike me, right? I didn't come with a plan. I just came to freestyle Friday for me. So I'm just gonna be freestyling off the top of the dome, as they would say. Um, yeah, so really nothing like crazy that happened for me. I've been kind of doing the same thing, kind of doing my thing, trying to build an empire. Um, but you know what? I said I've been doing my own podcast on the side.
Yes.
And I said something on not the most recent episode, but an episode or two ago about this podcast. And I hadn't talked to you about it. So why not put you on the spot right here in the middle of the podcast? Because I have been talking about, because it's a podcast for fathers. And some of these fathers are husbands. And so I was talking about marriage and things like that. And I said that maybe on our podcast, we might start slipping some marriage stuff in there as well. Because we do the couples retreat, because we are a couple who is married. We can give some insight into that. And I know it seems like we get a little, not a little, we get a pretty good reply when we do talk about some of that stuff, because those are real things that people are dealing with. I mean, obviously we're working on building a meditation practice and motivation, but relationship is one of those things that meditation can help with, that motivation can help with. As partners, like you do a really, really good job of motivating me, and like, you know what I mean? Like, so there's things. I was being serious. So you're blushing. Oh, that's what it is. So I just thought that may be something that we can kind of slip in there, not as a complete segment, but I mean, I think there's parts of what we talk about where, relationship could be
like integrated in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I mean, I just
doing creative stuff in your other podcast about this podcast.
Yeah, shameless plugs and whatnot.
Just kidding.
But yeah,
I like that. That's a good idea.
I think it could be cool to kind of slide in there. If y'all don't like it, let us know. We'll take it out. We'll talk about single people only and their meditation, motivation, and movement. It's a singles only meditation. No meditating with others.
It's so special.
Speaking of meditation, we should probably transition before we waste too much time just talking back and forth. So for meditation, what do you have, oh guru of the meditation?
You're always saying that. I don't think that I had like too much of a plan to specifically regarding meditation, except for including it in your self-care plan. So I more wanted to talk specifically about self-care.
Ooh, wait.
Ooh, what?
Ooh. Didn't you finish a book?
Oh my gosh. Why are you taking my stuff?
Y'all, you listen. I don't know if you guys are hearing this right. You are hearing an author speak to you now.
Oh my!
This is not just regular people talking. This young lady is an author of a book. Sorry.
Soon we'll take them out.
Go ahead. You just said self-care and it made me think, ooh, author.
Well, I was going to actually talk about that. That was one of my new things. But it's okay because you that's what I was going to say. Well, first I want to kind of, and a little bit of this is in my book, just with developing out your self-care plan. So since we are at the start of a year, this is a perfect time for you to look at last year and see, where you were, without judgment, but a load of compassion, and just kind of, identifying what you want, using that as like your baseline, and then looking at what pockets or what areas you noticed that you need a little more self-care in, and then using all of that to generate your self-care plan for 2022. So, if you didn't have a plan at all and you didn't know where to go, when my book is released after it is edited, then you can kind of use that for some ideas. And if you have something that you were like a routine you were doing, if you've been listening to us and you have included like meditation or just mindfulness, anything, in that plan, going to see a therapist, like taking care of your mental health. We talked about so many things, but if you've included those things in your self-care plan, then that's awesome. Maybe you want to ramp some of it up. Maybe you want to, look at switching it up or something. So, or doing more of the same, because sometimes we stop doing the things that are really great for us. And we're like, wait a minute. Yeah, for a couple months there, I was doing my bike riding or whatever, and then I stopped. And that was really great. Maybe I'm going to put that back in my, routine or my self-care plan or whatever it is that you decide to kind of include back in or maintain. So that's my kind of thing I wanted to share. And then I did want to do a shameless plug that the book is finished. Like, I am done writing words. And if you, I say that because there's this whole thing when you're writing about getting a certain word count. And so my focus was just like, a word count per day. And I didn't always like meet my count goal, but I kept pushing but ultimately I met my larger goal, which I know is kind of like in the motivation section, but I was able to complete it before the end of the year. So my goal was just to finish writing. And now my next goal for this year is to actually get it edited and released and have like a cover, an actual book. Like, I can't even think about that. That sounds crazy to me, but but it's written, so it's going in something. I don't care how many people decide to read it, but it is done. Like, I am done writing it. So for now. So that's exciting though. And I do hope that it does, bring other people a level of, focus in the self-care area and encouragement to really take care of themselves. So yeah, so that's what.
That's dope, man. That's cool.
I mean, and even this is like integrating, like you said, couples, because in relationships, I think that's important to note, that you are very supportive of my personal self-care journey. And, a lot of partners might not be. They might feel like, oh, you're leaving me out, or you're not, especially when there's certain things in that don't include you, right? And so it's okay to have like time separation from your partner. And it doesn't have to mean anything bad. And it's great to have the support. So, like if you want to have a girls' night, or if you, want to go on a solo trip, or if you need to, help with the kids so you can just have a few hours. You actually sent me a funny meme about that. Remember?
I send you funny memes all the time.
You do all the time. But I can't even keep up with them. But the meme was about what is it? Parenting is really only hanging out with the kids so your partner can get a few hours to rest.
Yeah.
So I thought that was hilarious, but I mean, the reality is that not everyone does that. Like, I talk to people and there are relationships, and everyone's relationship is different, but there are relationships where, they can't spend time apart, or, there's no girl or guy time, or there might be a lot of jealousy or issues, or there might be, one-sided in the child rearing, or helping around the house. Like you cook, clean, you do everything. So
Amen.
Like, we're not a traditional household. So I love that, but we knew that already going in. So I think a lot of times people know their situations going in, and like, I wouldn't be able to be in a traditional household. That would not work for me. It would be a done deal quick.
Yeah. I mean, and you mentioned the support part of it, and in the virtual couples retreat, that was one of the things that I talked about, is that that support factor, right? Because that's really important. Like when you become one, and I don't want this to turn into a marriage podcast, but when you become one, right? When you and your partner become one, then just like you have self-talk, that you say things about yourself or you believe things about yourself, that person also hears you say things or sees you do things. And so you have to be that other half, that supportive half. They're going to have their own limiting beliefs and things that they think about themselves. And you have to be able to step in when you see that happening and go, hey, you can do it. You're a rock star. Like you must not see in you what I see in you. Right. And so you get to be strong when maybe they're weak. Right. If you guys are equally yoked or evenly yoked or whatever it is, and you fit in together like that, then you get to be supportive in that way. And if and sometimes it happens because you just don't know, you don't communicate well enough, and like, I just don't know, you needed some self-care right there. But if you're aware of it, as that person's partner, you have to step in and take the kids for a couple hours and like, yo, you go do your thing. We're gonna go climb on the roof and jump off a couple times because that's what dads do to their kids. We're gonna do dangerous stuff. We're gonna go wrestle or something.
Never mind.
We're gonna go have different kind of fun, right? But yeah, so I think it's really important that you mentioned that, is that part is really important, to have a support system in your self-care, right? It's still your self-care, but to have an environment that is conducive of that. And if you have a partner, that partner needs to be supportive of that, because if I care for you, then I have to let you care for yourself. Right. And it's not selfish to do that. Right.
Yeah. There's a whole section about how it's not selfish in my book that you'll be reading soon. But I'm
gonna try to get her to give y'all all of the game, but you still got to get the book.
Right. But I'll give little tips here and there. Yeah. So that's, I think that's it. But even just in writing the book, like you were super supportive, encouraging, like you just mentioned, like super encouraging, like you could do this, you could finish this. And even to the point where I didn't believe I could. I mean, I thought I could, but it wasn't until like, I needed that little extra push in your belief and stuff like that.
So. Now I gotta introduce you as author.
Oh my gosh, don't ever.
Therapist, author.
See, people don't know this about me.
Entrepreneur.
I have worked well on this, but I do not like praise. At all. But I am accepting of it now. So the fact that I'm allowing this moment to happen is that shows my progress.
Knew you in 2022, right? You're just let the praise fall on you.
Man, these dad jokes just don't stop.
Oh my gosh.
Don't stop.
All right. So for meditation, are you good?
Oh yeah.
Jump in there?
Yeah.
I wanted to, and this is actually for the entire podcast, right? This is something, actionable items, right? This is the part where you lean in. Like if you've been listening and you've been kind of picking some things up, hearing some little things as we started the podcast, awesome. But this is the part I want you to lean in. So when we're talking about meditation, we're talking about motivation, we're talking about movement, right? We're talking about your health and fitness. We're talking about your mental state. We're talking about your emotional state. Typically, we're talking about like building or creating a new habit. We want to, build our meditation practice. So that's, for a lot of us, a new habit that we're trying to build or maybe trying to better. During the motivation part, maybe, how we talk to ourselves, how we see the world, our mindset may be a new thing or new habit for us. And in the movement part, it may be, it's 2022. Everybody's trying to lose weight, get in shape. Everybody's at the gym like crazy, the first 3 days, 4 days, whatever. We're trying to these new habits. So there's four ways, four like really effective ways to build and create new habits. Okay. And they're like, if you can kind of grab any one of these works or any combination of these works, But if you can take them and grasp them, they're practical and powerful. Like they really get the job done. Okay. So the first one is implementation intention.
Okay.
Right. So with implementation intention, what you're doing is you're not only taking a behavior that you want to do, but you're also setting a time and a location.
Okay.
So for example, it's like, I will do X behavior at Y time at Z location.
Okay.
Okay. If we're talking about working out, and I always use working out. Oh, actually, no, we're in the motivation part. We'll talk about, meditation part. So we'll talk about meditation. I will meditate at 6:15 a.m. in the loft.
Okay.
Right. The reason this is so effective is because you've actually now created an appointment in your mind. Because you selected a location, you've given it a physical place. Right. Not only have you given it a physical place, but you've given it a specific time.
Yeah.
Even if you aren't aware of what it's going to look like at that time, around 6:15 what the world is like. Right. You know what the behavior is. So now you've almost completely created a scenario in your mind. Now it's really hard for you to not follow through on that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it kind of works in a circle. Like, not only are you going to meditate at 6 a.m. in the loft, but you're going to be in the loft at 6 a.m. meditating. You're going to be at 6 a.m. I'm going to meditate in the loft at 6 a.m. I'm in the loft meditate. Like, there's all these different ways that your brain starts making all of these connections. And now it's really hard for you not to execute on that.
Okay.
Right. So implementation is number one. Number two is just regular habit stacking.
Okay.
Right. So habit stacking is where you have a habit that you already currently do. And I've talked about this on here before. A habit that you currently do and that new habit that you want to start doing. Right. So when you habit stack, what you do is you take, like, brushing your teeth, for example. Right. Everybody brushes their teeth every morning, or, morning and night or whatever. Would you brush your teeth? And you had a new habit that you want to do. So maybe, like, again, using meditation, after I brush my teeth, then I will meditate. Right. And then, so every time you brush your teeth, you meditate. Right. Now you've stacked one habit that you're already currently doing and a new habit on top of it.
Right.
Right. So now the two go together. Okay. The third one is where we would take habit stacking and put it together with temptation bundling.
Oof.
Right.
What
So
is that? That
temptation bundling. Temptation bundling is where you take something that you want and something that you need, and you couple them together. Right. So I have a habit that I want to do and a habit that I need to do.
Okay.
So, for example, I want to watch TV.
Okay.
Right. But I need to build my meditation practice.
Okay.
So what I'll do is, instead of just watching TV, I set it up to where I can only watch TV if I've meditated. So after I meditate, I can watch TV. So now I've coupled the temptation with the thing that I want.
Oh, I've done that before.
Or
I'm like, I'll work out while I'm watching TV.
That's the second part of it. So you can do it where you do the thing that you need to do and then follow it up with the thing that you want to do, or you can do them at the same time. Right. Well, meditation is hard. I can't meditate while I'm watching TV.
Right. But
But if there's some other goal or some other habit that you're trying to create, you usually can mix them together. If you can't, then you don't. Right. There is, what was that? Number 2, number 3?
That was 3.
That was 3. Okay. So now that was temptation bundling, and that number 3 is habit stacking and temptation bundling. So you take the habit that you currently have. So let's go brushing teeth, right? So I brush my teeth. That's the habit that I already do. After I brush my teeth, then I'm going to meditate.
Okay.
After I meditate, then I'll watch TV.
Oh, I see.
So I've sandwiched the thing that I need to do in between something I'm already doing and something that I really want to do. Right. So that first thing, that's something that I already do, is a trigger for me to do the thing that I need to do. And I reward myself for doing it with the thing that I really want.
Oh, guys, I take notes on this too. I'm like,
that's why I say lean in.
Mind,
so it's like a cycle. Right. The last one is habit stacking and habit tracking. right? Habit stacking is obviously a big thing, right?
Right,
Because
right.
you're taking something that you already do and you're building on it. You're
Mm-hmm.
adding momentum or adding fuel to the fire. So habit stacking, I've already talked about. Habit tracking is some sort of visual means of quantifying
Mm-hmm.
your ability to do the task.
Yeah.
Not ability, but like how consistent you are doing
Yeah.
the task, right? So it may be a calendar,
Mm-hmm.
right? It may be an app on your phone. Apps on your phone are good if
Yeah.
you put them on the front screen and you don't bury them in like a group, or you don't put them
Yeah.
on the second, like the second slider,
Right.
right? It's got to be in the front. It's got to be, if you can, if it's like a widget and not just a little icon, like
Mm,
it's something big that you can see,
that makes sense.
because the visual part of it is really key, right? Like
Right.
you can write it down, but if you write it down and put it in the notebook and close the notebook, you might forget about the notebook for several days,
Right.
right?
Right.
But the human body is really big on visual,
Right.
right?
Okay.
There, and this is sciencey, I'm sorry. There's 11 million like sensory receptors.
Oh, this is science. Uh-huh.
Almost 10 million of them are dedicated to vision,
Mm,
right? Like if you think about humans and animals, right? Like we don't have better hearing than most animals,
mhm.
right? Our hearing sucks compared to
Right.
animals. Our sense of smell is terrible compared to animals. Taste is whatever. Like I don't know what animals taste, but maybe ours is better. Maybe we win there. We got thumbs, so we're winning there.
Wow.
But our sight, other than like nocturnal animals, our
Right.
sight is pretty comparable to typical, like not majority of animals, but a good deal of animals. Like we got really good sight, right? Like our vision is what is like our eyes are in front, right? So our eyes do most of the work. So like almost half of your brain's function or power is your brain's resources are located and kind of shifted towards
Right.
sight. So if you're not doing something that you can physically see or visually see, then if you're tracking it, it doesn't necessarily work, right? But so you stack the habits and you have to have some way of tracking it so that you can hold yourself accountable. Again, like if you have a calendar, you put a calendar on the wall and each day you do that new habit, you put an X.
Yeah.
Right. Because now you see it, you got an X yesterday.
Right.
Dang, I got to get that X. It's 10 o'clock. Let me go hurry up and get that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now all of a sudden you're holding yourself accountable because you can see it. So that is the fourth one. You got all those?
Yeah, it feels very motivating though. I'm just like, what am I about to go stack? What habits? What I need to do? But it also made me think about a couple of times where I've done some of those things unintentionally and it actually works. So yeah, and I'll bring one up later when we get further down the line.
Good. All right. Well, hopefully you guys got that. If you didn't, rewind it, listen to it again.
Yes.
If you got some habits that you're trying to build or create, or some things that you want to do in 2020, most people do, right? It's the New Year's resolutions. Everybody's starting the year fresh. You got something you want to build. These are really, really successful ways to do it. You just have to find which one works for you in your situation and maybe even for the particular habit, right?
Right.
But they can be really helpful, right? So hopefully that helps you in building your meditation practice, as well as building your movement part of it as well.
Yeah, no, I love that. Yeah, mic drop.
It's not a mic drop. What it is a transition because we're going to move to motivation now. And you said you felt motivated, so would you like to go first, or?
I just feel like I want to go stacking habits and figuring this out. But no, I like that idea because it just makes a lot of sense. But no, I didn't have anything in particular regarding what you just said, like any thoughts on it, except for that I'm stealing all of that and using it for my benefit. I always tell people this is exactly one of the reasons we decided to start this podcast, is because he's always dropping gems like this. And I'm like, you need to tell the people, the world, the universe, some of this stuff, especially because I work a lot on, with people. I do more of the, therapy or, wellness coaching, that kind of thing. But to add this motivational piece and the way you frame things and put things together, it just, I don't know. think it's amazing.
Well,
So,
thank you.
you're welcome.
All right. This is all right. That's enough.
It
now.
is, but
That's enough. They already heard enough marriage stuff. They're already about to change the channel on us right now. Like, yo, I came here for meditation, showering each other with praises. It's not February 14th yet.
No, but seriously, I just think people need to hear it. So, and they are now, and
Good.
they have been hopefully for a while. So,
Good. Now, hopefully, we can motivate them.
exactly.
Yeah, we got
to
you.
go past the 4 days.
Yeah, we got you. We got you guys here. You got habits. You're stacking them, right?
Yes. Yeah, for motivation, I mean, it is a new year. And so, this is the time, like you mentioned, that people are, looking at the year and looking at what they want to accomplish. Actually was listening to something. What was it? It was actually a TV show. I can't remember which one it was though, but someone was saying this is like the last 2 years have been the first kind of year that we've been able to not hustle and grind so much and be okay with just being. And I really do think there's some, level of balance that now I think people are seeing the importance. And I know we always say like not necessarily balance, right? Things cannot be even in balance, they more in harmony. But I think more of a mindset balance, maybe, where people are seeing that that's, downtime and not necessarily always grinding, and resting is okay. And you can do that to build up that energy for when, or just because, first of all, it's okay to rest whenever you want to.
Right.
But also, right, that part. But when you do want to hustle and grind and, be motivated to get to your goals, because everyone has goals and it's okay to have them, even if they're small, big, whatever. It's important to know that rest actually can come before that. And, you can build that capacity back and that energy back to be able to actually push yourself, or have a clear mind to be able to, meet those goals that you have. So with 2022 approaching, I would like to know, if you guys can message us. I'd like to know, like, what are some of your goals? What are some of the things that you hope and wish for? And then what tools are you going to use to kind of make it there? I really think that is key, and it's kind of connected to habit, stacking and all of that, but just kind of looking at what those goals are and then breaking them down, and really visualizing that part that you said, like being intentional about it. I like that, because it's like you see yourself doing it. You work out the kinks before it happens, because a lot of times we are so worried about, well, what's going to happen? When am I going to do this? When am I going to have time? And it's like, you can kind of pre-plan and work out the kinks. But one big thing to know is nothing's going to be perfect. So my motivational thing for this night is to just start. Like, I know it's hard. I know people hate hearing just start, and there's like a million things for you not to start. But the reality is that you won't know if you don't start. And if you never do it, then you'll fail and you won't ever do it. I guess, like, the worst has happened already, right?
Yeah.
So believe in yourself and just, whatever your goals are, whatever you need motivation for, really it is just about starting.
Yeah.
And not stopping.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So
stroke of genius. This is like, before you start, I watch Grey's Anatomy still. Yes, I do. All right. So when I watch, but every time he does that, I know if you're listening to this, you probably have no idea. Like, if you're not watching the video, now you have to go and watch the video. But if you're listening to this, you don't have any idea why I reacted. But so I hope you remember what you're going to say. And if you don't, that's going to be sad. But anytime, like when I'm watching Grey's Anatomy or one of those shows, the people are just like doing everyday things, and someone randomly says something, and they go, they have like a stroke of genius, and they fix someone or heal someone somehow with some, magical idea.
No.
So every time you make that face, I feel like you're gonna drop some gems. I hope you are.
I mean, I hope I do too. You put that pressure on me.
But every time we're talking, you go, I got an idea. I always think about Grey's Anatomy. Like, I don't know why, but anyway, okay.
All right. So a lot of times we talk about goals, and I'm going to get to that part, but you said something that made me have an aha moment.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a book, I think it's called Get It Done, or Get Things Done, GTD. Mm-hmm. I knew a different GTD when I was younger. It was, Martin and Tommy. Yeah. But it's called, I don't know if it's called GTD or like the main concept in the book is called GTD, but the author is David Allen, I believe. And there's something in there called the 2-minute rule. Okay. So when you're starting, you're starting something, right? You're starting a new thing. He has this thing where he calls the 2-minute rule. So the 2-minute rule is basically anything that you're going to do, you need to make it easy.
Okay.
Right. Because if it is difficult for you, you're not going to start. Right. You're going to shy away from something that is going to be difficult to start.
Right.
So what he says is you take any goal and you boil it down to 2 minutes. And literally everything, every habit, every goal, anything you want to do, you can boil down to 2 minutes.
Okay.
It's not literally 120 seconds, but it's a 2-minute thing. So let's say, for example, I want to run a marathon.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not going to today go run a marathon right away. Right. I'm nowhere near that. So my 2 minutes might just be put on my shoes and walk to the door. Right. Whatever happens after I hit the door is extra.
Okay.
Right. But my 2 minutes is making sure I put on my shoes and get to the door.
Okay.
Right. I'll do that for a few days until like that's my goal. Like I'm showing up. I'm showing up at the door every day. Right. Now, because showing up at the door is easy. Now I'll go, okay, now when I get out the door, I'm going to run to the park or walk to the park.
Right.
Right. Then I'm going to walk back. Boom. Once that becomes my, my starting point, now walking to the park and walking back, maybe now I run to the park and I run and I walk back, and now I run both ways, but gradually building up. So instead of starting with this whole thing in mind where I have to run a marathon, I boil it down to the smallest part. What is the thing that I need? I need to have on running shoes. So let me put on my shoes, and I need to run outside. So let me put on my shoes by the door. That's my 2 minutes.
Okay.
Right. Or if I need to, I'm writing a book, right? You're an author now. I need to write a book. Instead of writing 10,000 pages, because that would be overwhelming and would stop me from writing, I am going to write 1 page.
Yeah.
And write 1 page today, and then I'm going to go to bed. If I write 1 page and I'm still flowing and I hit 2 pages, that's a bonus. I'm not counting that second page. It doesn't count. I'm going to just start over tomorrow, writing 1 page.
Got it.
Right. So the 2-minute rule allows you to take small actions and snowball them into bigger things.
Yeah.
Right. Because the end is what I want to do. But right now I need to do I just need 1 thing to get me started.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If I can get started, then I get momentum and I can continue to build.
Yeah.
Right. So when we say get started, we don't mean like start with everything right now. Right. And a lot of people get overwhelmed with the idea of starting because they're so focused on what the goal is.
Yes.
Right. And if I'm looking at the goal, it's like this big thing, it's way off in the distance. Like, geez, right. But the journey of a mile starts with the step. Right. And so I just need to take that first step.
Yeah.
And if I land it and don't fall on my face, then I just take another step.
Yeah. Right? And if you land it and fall on your face, then you calibrate and figure out.
Back up.
Yeah.
Start stepping again. Right. You learn from that mistake or that mess up, I guess you would call it. Right. It may not even be that.
It's just a learning opportunity.
Yeah. It's a lesson.
Yeah, a lesson. Exactly. No, I like that too, because you really are giving yourself just a chance and momentum, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And I really like what you said, because when people are starting businesses, like that's one of our, big goals. Obviously, Rod is an entrepreneur, and I guess I am too. I am an entrepreneur.
Yes, you are. You got
I
like
know,
10 businesses.
I know. I am, but I don't just like think of myself as just that, I guess. 'Cause I'm also an employee. I'm both. But I'm not a full-time entrepreneur, I should say.
Right, you're a
that.
9 to 5-preneur.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like a part-time entrepreneur. But just being a full-time entrepreneur, like that's part of it, right? Like you have to, just looking at starting, like I said, looking at starting a business, it's one of those things where it's like, just do it, just start. Like it's been an idea, you've been wanting to do it, just try it, see what happens, like move forward, see where you need to go. Don't think about, a lot of times when people are starting a business, they're thinking about like what is going to happen, where they want it to go, and that stops you and blocks you mentally when you see it not going where you want it to go.
Right.
You can't have some big idea, you can't go off of somebody else's journey or somebody else's business, or even get stuck with it not being exactly how you want it, because then you won't start. I know a lot of people that have not been able to start or finish because of that. And it's okay to kind of take different roads too, but you have to just get started. At least give yourself a chance. And if it didn't work out, then, or you decided you didn't like it, that's okay too. I mean, I don't necessarily believe that you in like wasting time if you tried something and you put your best effort,
Right.
in it.
Right.
So
Right.
it was just what needed to happen. And maybe that might connect you to somebody else, or connect you with a better idea, or help you learn something about yourself. There's things you can get out of it. So
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think something you said there is kind of going on what I was going to say initially. When talking about your goals, and typically we do what we're supposed to do, and we have these big goals that we want to accomplish. And of course, at the start of the year, everybody has these big goals they want to accomplish. These, we want so much out of a year, right? We want so much out of 2022 because of maybe, some shortcomings of 2021, or some things didn't go the way we wanted them to, or maybe they did, and we just want to be bigger this year.
Right.
But as much as I love goal setting, the goal is just a thing. I know, I see it.
Like,
Right? I see
what are you doing?
The goal, it was a fidget spinner, right? It was a pop it. I was just doing whatever. Anyway, the goal is just to help you set a direction, right? Like if you set a goal to start a business, right? That can be your goal, and it points you in a direction, right? But you need a system or a set of processes to get you there, right? So and I'm pretty sure I've said this before, because I say it all the time, and I say it to clients and people I talk to all the time, is you have to set your goal and then forget about it and just work on the process, right? Because if you're staring at the goal, you miss all the steps on the way to get there, right? Having goals, and this is going to fly in the face of everything that we've said, having goals can actually be the reason you don't accomplish them.
Yeah.
Right? Like having a goal could be the reason you don't get what you want out of life, right? Because goals don't always work. Like, so a goal is a short-term focus.
Yeah.
Right? No matter how long-term the goal is, it's a short-term focus, because once you achieve the goal, then what are you doing? Right? Like, what's next?
Yeah.
Right? If you're only focused on getting to the goal, then once you get there, everything else is like forgotten. Right? It's hard to stay there if you don't understand the process it took to get there.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And kind of going back to like marriage or relationships, you hear old dudes say all the time, like, the same way you got her is the way you keep her. Right. And so if you get her and then you don't do any of those same things you did to get her, then you might,
it can be rough.
Yeah. You'd be ready to sign them papers. So you have to, even with your goals, like if you create a process or a system to get you to your goal, when you get there, you can use that same process or system to keep you there. And in fact, you can use that same process with some tweaking now, because you know how to do it to get you to the next goal. Right. But if you're always focused on the goal, it kind of sets you back, and it puts you in a situation where you can't accomplish what you need to accomplish.
Right. Yeah.
So I would say, motivationally speaking, it's 2021 or 2022, no longer
Back in time.
2021, right? It's 2022. You have a big goal for yourself. I'm sure you do.
Mhm.
Whatever that is, like, set it out there. And now let's work backwards, right? We're going to work backwards from what that goal is. If it is, a 6-figure business, if it's a better relationship, if it's you lose 20, 30 pounds, whatever, right? Whatever that is, envision it, see yourself there,
Yeah.
know what it smells like, know what it tastes like, get really intimate with that moment and what it feels like, who you are when you're there,
Mhm.
and then work backwards trying to figure out what you need to do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis in order to be there.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what goals or milestones do you need to hit, right? Because if you aren't hitting those and you just wake up the next day at your goal, then you're probably going to wake up the next day away from your goal, right? Because you just have no idea how to get there.
Yeah.
Right? It's like if you use a GPS and it tells you how to get somewhere, you arrive, but then if your phone isn't working the next time, you have no idea how to get there.
Yeah.
You're completely lost. Like, I've been here before. I've been here before, but
all over the place.
No idea how to get back.
Right.
And really no idea where I'm at. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything off of that?
Well, I just soak it all in and see how, while you're talking, I'm like, how is it applying to my life? Because it's like I said, I just get free motivational talks all the time. So, which is very helpful. Speaking of that, the only thing, and I'm doing a pretty good job integrating this whole relationship thing in, only because I think that is huge when we're talking about starting the new year off, is really looking at your relationship and how you all can motivate and support one another. I think one of the big things is asking your partner, like, what they might need from you in order for them to be able to kind of be successful with whatever that goal is.
Right.
So I would just encourage you to talk about that. Like, we talk about that. And so it's important, hey, I'm going to need this from you. I'm going to need that from you. Or I'm going to need, this patience, this understanding, or, hey, this time is going to go here, whatever it is. It's important to kind of share that. So if you are able to kind of have like sit down talks, I would include that, and even just ask, like you say, the person, you may not know, like the person may not be necessarily saying what they need. Sometimes people don't know what they need. Sometimes people are scared to ask for what they need. Sometimes people just don't, or whatever the case is. And obviously it is that person's responsibility to be able to do so. But as a partner, it's also okay to ask also, right? And or even just to say, hey, would this be helpful or that? So you're not just guessing,
right?
Because people are not mind readers. So they, but it's okay to ask. And I think that's the part that I wanted to add in here, is that, at the start of this year, ask your partner, what do they need help with, or whoever a friend, whoever it is that you're, wanting to support.
Yeah, I think even if if you're single and meditating and motivating and moving, even if you don't have a partner to ask, if you have a friend or a colleague,
family,
like, because what you're doing is creating now an open dialogue between another, like, and now they can ask you what you need. Now you have an opportunity to lean on somebody else and get support from somebody else, or a community of people, right? Like, if you have that available to you, and that's really, really beneficial, because going at anything alone is always harder than going at it with a group. Yes. Unless that group is super dysfunctional. Right?
Right.
If you want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far, go together.
It's so true, because I have, she's a friend now, but she used to be my supervisee, or right? Did I say that right?
She supervised you?
No.
You supervised her?
I supervised her.
Okay.
Sorry, I just got confused right now because I'm trying to focus on what I'm trying to say. But we used to work together. And I used to be her supervisor, but now we're more like friends. And so, but I always remember that she would remind me of certain things that I said, certain goals that I had. And every time I see her, she's like, oh, so when's that book coming out? Right? Like, oh, so did you start that e-course? I'm looking forward to that. You know, like she reminds me, and I'm like, oh yeah, I did say I was gonna do that. Right. So, like you said, like talking to people, having someone check in with you about it, and not in a negative way, but just like, oh, do you need help with that? Do you have any ideas? Because we talked about that too. I was like, yeah, let me run some, things by you. I'm like, oh yeah, cool. So, that is also important. So yeah, it doesn't have to just be in partnership. And I think a lot of things, even though we're integrating stuff with marriage and relationships, it can be with anyone you're in relationship or partnership with. So family, friendships,
Right.
all of that. Like it's okay to get that support and seek some guidance from them. So yeah, I like
Yeah. That goes along with the kind of with the, and I think I've talked about this before, like percentages that kind of go along with being successful at a task. And one of the highest percentages of being successful is if you know what you're doing, you know when you want to do it by, you know how you're going to do it, but then you also tell someone to keep you accountable. That is like the highest level of success. Like if you're doing something, you've hit all those things. So again, even if you have those first three, you know what you're doing, you know what you want to do, you know how you want to do it, you know when you want to do it by, you're still only like 50%, right? Because you're still doing it by yourself, and no one's holding you accountable, no one's fact checking you. So you definitely need to do that, and the best way to get someone to do it for you is to do it for them, right? It's like you just pass it off,
do
like
that for each other.
Yeah, like it's an easy thing, because eventually, if she continues to ask you, hey, how's that thing, and if you start asking, oh, hey, how was that thing you were working on, that's like the natural conversation. Somebody asks how you're doing, you answer, and you say, how are you doing, right? And it just goes back and forth. So you're kind of creating an accountability partner, whether they know it or not. Now you can be more specific and get an official accountability partner or a coach or somebody like that who can guide you a little more. But that's a really, really helpful tool if you're trying to accomplish something. And if you're listening to the motivation part of it, I'm assuming that you are. All right. All right. Well, it seems like it is time to move to movement. We're going to shimmy on down to movement because it's almost J5. Anyway.
Is this? Oh yeah, this will be released. Yeah, it will be.
Yeah, January 5th.
Yeah.
Wellness Wednesday, January 5th.
Yeah.
The what year is that? 110th? 12th? 110th? I don't know. I'm probably gonna get in trouble for not knowing the exact year.
I don't even know why you struggled right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna just let it go.
No,
1911 to 2022 would make it 111 years, right? That's the math on that.
He just can't do math.
11 years of excellence of the good brothers at Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. But anyway, moving to movement, that's where the shimmy came from. If you guys have any idea what I'm talking about, hopefully you do. Moving to movement, wonderful time of year to talk about movement. Last year at this time, I talked about using the motivation of everyone else around this time of year to help fuel you in your movement. Everyone, for the most part, is talking about how they're going to get in the gym and do this with their body or do that with their body and all that, right? And so you want to ride that wave right now, right? If you can, because now is the most, this is the easiest time to get accountability partners because everybody's going, right? You get a gym buddy and they may want to fall off, but if you can stay consistent, you can keep them with you for a little while, and then both of y'all will get to your goals, right? But if you start now, you can potentially be where you want to be physically by summertime, right? Which is where everybody wants to be. By the summertime, everybody wants to be, out on the beach or somewhere tropical, looking good, feeling good. And now would be the time to do that. If you wait though, all right, if you wait, then you probably be looking at fall or winter, maybe. Right. So now is the time to take advantage of everyone else's, wanting to get in shape or wanting to eat healthier. There's no holidays, no real like eat food holidays coming up for
Right.
quite some time. So you don't have to
Yeah.
worry about that. You don't want to have to worry about your eating healthy, cramping your social lifestyle. Because
Right.
people aren't really doing anything for a while. Nobody's going to a happy hour for Martin Luther King's birthday. You pretty much got until March, right?
That's true.
Until
Until
like
spring break.
until like St. Patrick's Day, and people want to drink beer. But
Oh,
like,
Valentine's.
yeah, but that's like one meal.
There were like 2 years in a row where he would ruin my Valentine's, my diet during Valentine's. So not my Valentine's, but like I would be like, oh, I'm eating healthy right now. And he'd bring me chocolates. And I'm like, well, that's really sweet, but that is not helping me. But I got over it. So
Yeah.
I will eat sweets for Valentine's. But yeah, so
Sweets to the sweet. That's what
but
Candyman
only
said.
oh god. I dare you to say it. No, I'm joking.
No, you already know I don't play with that.
But yeah, no, but other than Valentine's and spring break.
Right. And you guys are all old like us. Y'all ain't going on spring break. So like
I go on spring break.
No, we go places, but we don't go
because
like
we have kids. So
yeah,
most
but we
people,
don't go like
if you're not in
that.
school, you don't have like a real spring break.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah, we don't go like college spring break.
No.
Daytona hammered.
Yeah, but you want to.
But if you do though, right?
Mm.
If you do, you want your body to look the way you want it to look when you show up to the beach, like, you know what I mean? So like now is the ideal time. Actually 2 months ago was the ideal time, but now we're in it, right? We're in the middle of
In the
it.
thick of it. It's almost your last shot. No, I'm joking.
Dang, that's cold-blooded.
I'm just kidding.
It's never too late.
Never
Too late, but now is the ideal time for you to start working towards your fitness. And if you haven't already, remember, like we talked about getting started, find out what your 2 minutes is.
Yeah.
What's your goal? What's the 2 minutes to that? Right? If your goal is to eat healthier, maybe your 2 minutes is starting with just a healthy breakfast, right? Or I don't know, like you gotta take whatever your goal is and work it down, work it down to a simplest form, and then just do that on a daily basis and see where it takes you.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you just want to be healthier, maybe being healthier to you means drinking, 8 glasses of water a day.
Right.
So then put a glass of water next to your bed before you go to sleep. And then when you wake up, you have a glass of water. It's going to take you, I don't know how big glass is, but it's not going to take you 2 minutes. But you're starting every day with that goal in mind. This is just a small thing, right? The weather is always interesting depending on where you live right now. Like some places where it's supposed to be cold, it's hot.
Yeah.
Where out here it was like 30 something degrees this morning. It was a frost, like a alert on my phone that there was frost everywhere. I don't even know what is a frost alert.
I don't know. But it was only in California. Right? Is there a frost alert?
But it was cold, I guess. So that might affect, some of the activities that you can do outside.
Right.
Although I did see this dude look like he had to be like 80. Had on a backpack, a big jacket. You could just see like his old face, and he had like ski, like it would look like he was going hiking mountains. He had like the little ski sticks, but he was out there moving early this morning. And if he can do it, you can do it.
Out there with him,
right?
In that cold.
But yeah, so like again, this time of year is really important to get started. It's the beginning of the year. You want to start to create these healthy habits, and it starts now.
It does, yeah.
Right, and it doesn't have to be something huge. Like honestly, it can be, instead of focusing on, like, most people are like, I want to lose 30 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds, whatever. They set a goal. I want to gain 10 pounds, whatever, right? Set the goal for himself. Again, set the goal. Forget about it. Instead of focusing on losing 30 pounds, let's go. I'm gonna work out 30 minutes 3 times a week
Mhm.
for 30 days.
Mhm.
Okay. If we can work out for 30 minutes 3 times a week over the course of the year, that's like 5,000 minutes of exercise.
Yeah.
You've done a pretty good amount of exercise. You will see the results,
Mhm.
but just start with something
Yeah.
that's manageable.
Yeah. And I think it's important also to note, that you can love your body how it is too, and not want to necessarily do any big changes with your body,
Right.
but maybe you just want to, increase your physical health for other reasons. I know we talk a lot about like weight loss and all that kind of stuff, because that's what a lot of people want to hear and talk about. But the reality is for some people, right? Like it might just be, I want to be able to not be breathing heavily if I'm chasing my little one around,
Mhm.
or I want to be able to grab, like catch them if they run out the door, or I want to, be able to just, I don't know, go on a hike on a date because
Right.
my date likes to hike and I want to be able to actually be able to do it without, passing out.
Mhm.
Or go see that great waterfall in that hike or whatever, right? Like it might just be like you want to have a little bit more ease with certain things, or I need physical movement because I need to improve my mental health,
Mm.
and this is my thing, this is what gets me going, or I
Right.
need to not stress, right, when I don't know, something is going on, so let me like get some movement in, right? So there's, lots and lots of reasons to kind of get those movement goals in and to make progress towards your movement. So figure
Right.
out for you what it is,
Right.
right? From the
Right.
majority, right? It's probably weight loss. And then that's fine. Do it for that too.
Right.
So, but ultimately, like you're saying, I think it's important just to kind of get started and get accountability partners and go along. This time is good. I was just thinking that the other day. I was like, oh, good. This is perfect for me to kind of get back on it. Cause I mean, that was the other thing I was going to ask you to share with them. And it's good, I'm always taking notes from when you talk with me about it, but I when I got sick in November and we were doing all the thing moving and all of that, like I did fall off and um hit my rock bottom. No, I'm joking. But I picked myself back up over the last few weeks in December. And my other big announcement is I got a Peloton to help motivate me, and I do my little 2 minutes.
They're not paying us for
Oh, they're
this.
not. I know.
Yeah. Don't do
Yeah,
too
but I
much.
still want to just share that because I love it. And if you want to pay us Peloton, we will advertise more now.
Oh
But
yeah.
we will though. And I do love the Peloton. But yeah, it's like my favorite thing that I just, and it was funny because you were mentioning earlier, you were talking about like the 2 minute thing, and then also the in setting an intention
Hmm.
and habit stacking or whatever. So I for my Peloton, I keep my shoes now in, like clipped in. Like I know that sounds weird, but if you're a parent, it's like the smallest things. Literally, if I was like excited, ready to get on my Peloton and somebody distracted me, or I saw a pile of laundry, or my kids needed me, or something needed to happen, like I would go and do that on my way to try and get shoes to go work out. Like I would get distracted, and in like 10, 15 minutes later,
Hmm.
I would be on the bike. But if I can just go to my bike, jump on it because my shoes are there, strap myself in and go, I'm more likely to
Yeah, but
do it
once the
really
shoes are
quickly.
on, they're not coming off to
Yeah,
the ride is done.
exactly.
Somebody's got to get hurt, or like it's got to be an
Yeah, it's
emergency.
pretty serious. Like it
Yeah.
has to be, because I'm like, don't bother me when I'm like, I'm not
Hmm.
unclipping and unstrapping. Um, so that part has been really cool for me. And then even being able to do it now, and this might be a tip for other moms or dads or parents.
Hmm.
But I like to, my new goal right now, or not, what would I call it? My new habit.
Hmm.
Yeah, my habit stacking is to, while the kids are, now that my kids are older, they're able to kind of do most of their bedtime routine independently. So now I'm like, okay, this is a perfect time for me to do like a quick evening workout And I know a lot of people don't like to work out, but to me, it's like, I'm not necessarily I am doing a workout, but I'm like, oh, I could go on a ride, right? Like I make it sound fun because you're going to be listening to music, do whatever. And I might stack it with being able to watch TV, which I like to do. So now I can ride and watch TV instead of just sitting watching TV, crashing and burning while I'm trying to make them go to sleep finally, right? Now I'm like, I'm getting a little workout in and I'm watching something, or I'm listening to some good music and they're taking care of business. And then I can be done about the same time they're ready to get their goodnight kisses and books and whatever else you do. So
Right.
it was like,
that is habit stacking and temptation bundling.
yes, I'm doing it without even trying. But I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So another reason to pay me Peloton, because I will get moms to get the Peloton. No. but no, I think it, just any type of movement, but that is new for me. And what I wanted to ask you, circling back for everyone, is when you fall off, and it's really hard for you to get back going, what would you say to people for just, I don't know, just like, because I know I felt bad when I fell off. I was like, what? And because when you fall off from physical movement, it's a lot to get that stamina back and that energy back and that desire back. And it's like,
what I would say is pause it right here, go back to the beginning and listen to the episode again. Because
that's true.
A lot of what you need, if you've fallen off, has been given already.
Yeah.
You don't need to get back to the level of athleticism or workout capacity that you had before. You just need to start.
Yeah.
You just need to get your 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And get back into the saddle. The war is not going to be won in a day. You're not going to get it all back in one workout, and that's fine. You have to understand that your goal now is to get wherever you're trying to go, but you're not going to get to your goal today, right? So let that go.
Yeah.
Right? You falling off of that is no different than falling off of anything else. It all is going to start with just one day.
Yes.
Right. And I would say something that you say often and that I like to mess around with is don't should on yourself.
Oh, yes.
Right. Like you should be in better shape, or you should be working out, or you should have never fallen off. But it happened and you're already there.
Compassion.
So now, what is it that you can do today in this moment right now? What is the one thing that you can do to start to build the habit that you want to have?
I love it.
Right. And it's definitely not going to be, oh man, I'm not as in shape as I used to be. It might just be flipping that actual sentence and going, man, I'm not in shape as I used to be, but I'm going to do something about it.
Yeah. Let's see what I can do.
Yeah, that's it. Right. Because you have, from that moment that you realized it and now you're problem aware and situation aware, you have the rest of your life to rectify it.
That's true.
It's not a time frame on it, right? Like you don't know how long that is, so you just get started.
I like it.
With 2 minutes, or
2 minutes. Small little things.
Put your feet into the shoes. Even putting your shoes onto the pedals was a 2 minute.
Yeah, that's right? What I'm saying.
Because it took away one more decision that you would have had to make. Right? Like you had going to the bike and thinking, man, I gotta put on my right shoe and I gotta put on my left. You know what I mean? Then I gotta strap in this right foot. There's like 7 steps now just to get onto the bike. You've eliminated 5 of them. Now it's just sit down, feet in.
And minutes are precious.
Yeah, decision fatigue is a real thing.
It is.
The more decisions you have to make over the course of the day, the less likely you are to make the quote unquote right decision, or to make a decision at all, right? We become more indecisive as the day goes on. Fellas, you can attest to this. Your wife will have all the answers all day until it's dinner time. You say, what do you want to eat?
Whatever.
No answer. Decisions cannot be made unless you make a suggestion and then she goes, nah, I don't want that.
anything but that. Why is that a universal thing? Like,
man, because you guys been making decisions all day. By the time we're like, hey, baby, we're gonna go get something to eat. What you want? You're like, oh, I don't know. I'd rather just not make a decision. You make a decision.
I don't know if that's it. Maybe, because sometimes I'm like, it's so simple. I don't know.
You will not make a decision. You're like, oh, I'm not that hungry, and I'll order something, and you'll eat what I have.
Right? Telling everybody about,
because they know. They know.
Oh, this is part of the marriage part.
Yeah, they know. They understand this thing, right? You're gonna eat half of the fries that I have on my plate, even though you said you didn't want them.
But I don't get what's wrong with that.
Because you
I want to sample some of yours and eat some of mine.
But you could have ordered your own.
But I didn't want the whole thing.
Then leave it on the plate.
No, I want some. Mine.
No, see,
and you can't order half or some.
This is gonna turn into a whole other episode. No, you can't have my fries. You gotta eat your own fries.
But I can have anything of yours. So.
Fellas, I'm with you. I know what you're thinking.
That's why you go get your special stuff without me. Like if you want your whole thing of fries or your whole burger, like that's your lunch break or something else.
All right. That's a secret, guys. Go eat by yourself.
Sneak food.
Yeah, right. These are the healthy habits she's teaching us, right? Hide your food. Hide your kids. Yeah.
Don't even. Okay. Anyway, I think we need to wrap this up.
Let's wrap it up. As always, guys, thank you for joining us. For those of you that have been rocking with us for a while, I know you're excited that we're back, and we're going to be back consistently. We may have said that before, you may have heard that before, but it's 2022 and it's true. We are going to stick to it because it is good for us as much as it is good for you.
Yes.
And it's something that we need to do. So selfishly, we're going to keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully you guys enjoy it. If you have anything, any suggestions, any questions, feel free to reach out to us on Instagram at Meditate, Motivate, Movement, all one word. I would give you the email, but it's probably better just to hit us on Instagram there. If you want to talk or say anything to me personally, it's at You Can Call Me Coach, the letter You Can Call Me Coach. And if you want to find Ari, it is at Your Happy Living Solutions, all one word. Okay. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And I look forward to hearing from you and seeing you guys soon.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.